Ready.
Discipline B students, get ready whenever you're ready.
Good morning, boys and girls. Today for arithmetic, I'm so excited to teach you a new lesson, but before we do, let's prepare by clearing our desks, having your piece of paper and your pencil ready to go for later. As we review, we're going to be going over Roman numerals. Stand and tell me what the abbreviation is that we use to remember what our Roman numerals mean. Allison? Selena, can you help her out? What the abbreviation? So we have I, V.
I is 1.
And what's our abbreviation that we will remember what it means? Class, the abbreviation is I vacuum extremely large carpets for mom and dad. Let's say that together.
I vacuum extremely large carpets for mom and dad.
All right, I'm going to call by rows and by seat number. So when I call your row, be ready to pop up. Row 1. Say that together.
1,000.
Good job. Row 3.
500.
Good. Row 4.
100.
Row 2.
58.
Good. Row 1. 1. All right, Christiana, you need to stand. Oh, sorry. Row 1. You're right. Row 1. 1. Good job. Good job correcting me. Seat 3. Good. Seat 3. Allison, I do. All right. Seat 1.
5.
Good. All right. We're going to play a quick around the world as fast as we can. Mallory, I'm going to have you hop up, and we're going to move on over to this side. We're going to go around the room and see how fast we can go. Ready? The rest of the class be thinking with them. If they get it wrong, you get to pop up.
12.
Good. Mallory.
2,000.
Good. Mallory.
1,000.
Allison.
2,000.
Allison.
16.
Good. Allison. Come all the way up to the front. 80. Good. Allison.
4.
David. Good job beating her. Everybody keep track of how many seats you've moved.
2.
Good. David.
2.
Good.
100.
David. Go ahead and start in the back there.
1,760.
All right. You thinking with me?
5,000.
Right there. Ready?
36.
Good job.
3.
Good.
12.
David.
366 days.
Oh, that was a tie. Let's try it again.
365.
That was a tie. One more.
12.
Leon.
7. About 52.
Oh, good job, Lizzie. You beat her. Try one more, and then we'll have to finish our game later. Ready?
7.
Carly. All right. It's all the time we have for today. If you move more than 5, you can go back to original seats. If you move more than 5 seats, go ahead and give yourself a pat on the back. Well, today, boys and girls, in our lesson, we get to learn how to change a mixed number to an improper fraction. And this reminds me of pizzas, because we have some fractions on the board that are going to help us learn our lesson. We have some pies. Who likes pie? I love pie. We have some chocolate pie here on our board, and I have 1 2/3. How many pieces is our pie split into, Sarah S?
3 pieces.
It is 3 pieces, and we have 2 more here. So if I was to figure out how many thirds we have in 1 2/3, we have 3 here and 2 more here. So how many thirds total would I have, Lizzie? 5 thirds. That is correct. So we have 5 thirds. And 5 thirds is equal to 1 2/3. So I have another one here. I have a pie. This is a cherry pie. Or maybe it's a strawberry pie if you don't like cherries. How many pieces do I have in this pie, David?
4.
Good. And so if I have 4 and then I have 1 more, how many is 1/4 equal to in fourths? 3. How many fourths are in our entire thing, and then our 1/4? 5/4. Good. So 1 1/4 equals 5 1/4. I have some special steps that we need to follow for our process of changing a mixed number to an improper fraction. But you know what? That reminds me of something. When you're working on your math problems, do you start at number 4 in a process, and then you go to number 3, and then you jump to number 1, and you jump to number 2? Of course not. That would be silly. In math, God has told us, and in all things, to do all things decently and in order, according to 1 Corinthians 4:14, verse 40. And so we need to do everything decently in order. And so as I'm going through our steps today, remember that we need to do them in order. That way we can be pleasing to God as we do our math today. So my first step for changing a mixed number to an improper fraction is to multiply the whole number by the denominator. Class, read this with me.
Multiply the whole number by the denominator.
Our second step is to add the numerator to the product. Say that together.
Add the numerator to the product.
And our last step is to keep the same denominator. Say that together.
Keep the same denominator.
Let's read through this whole process together.
Multiply the whole number by the denominator. Add the numerator to the product. Keep the same denominator.
So for our first problem, we have 1 and 5/9. And my first step is to multiply the whole number by the denominator. So I'm going to put a little multiplication sign here to remind us that we are going to be multiplying. I'm going to write that off to the side. 1 times 9. Then we need to add our numerator to the product. So I'm going to put a little plus sign right here. And we're going to write it off to the side here. And then we keep the same denominator. And our denominator is 9. So we're going to put 9 right there. And if you need a help in remembering this is a long process, something that's helped me, if you just take your pencil and draw a circle around and an arrow, you can remember that you start here, you multiply, you add, and then you keep the same denominator. So let's continue with our problem. 1 times 9 plus 5 is 14. So we have 14 nines. So 1 and 5/9 is equal to 14 nines. Our second problem is 1 and 7/8. So we're going to multiply our whole number by our denominator. We're going to write that off to the side. So 1 times 8. And then we're going to add our numerator, which is 7. We're going to write that off to the side. And we keep the same denominator, which is 8. We're going to continue our problem. 1 times 8 plus 7 is 15. And we have 15 over 8. And if you need help remembering, just remember to draw that circle around and you can continue working. I need some help with my last problem here. What is our first step? Holly?
To add a multiplication sign between 1 and 3.
Good. Can you tell me what why are we adding multiplication sign there?
We're multiplying the whole number by the denominator.
Good. We're multiplying the whole number by the denominator. We're going to write that off to the side. 1 times 3. What's our second step? Madison.
We're going to add the product to the numerator.
Good. We're adding the numerator to the product. So we're going to put a little plus sign here and add our 2. And what is our last step, class?
Keep the same
Say
denominator.
that one more time, all together.
Keep the same denominator.
And what's our denominator, Carly?
3.
It is 3. All right, 1 times 3 plus 2 is plus?
5.
Say that all together.
5.
And our numerator is what, Christiana?
3.
Good. So we have our answer. 5 and 5/3 is equal to 1 and 2/3. And remember, if you need help, just remember to draw that little circle and you will do well. Let's continue working on some of these. I need Deanna, Jean, and Hannah to go to the sideboard and work the problems I have there. And the rest of us are going to work on some flashcards that I have here. Our first step is to multiply the whole number by the denominator. So Irene, stand and tell me what this answer would be for you to work the whole process.
15 over 4.
Good, it would be 15 over 4. Have one more here. Holly, how would you work this problem?
4 times 6 is 24, so it's 25.
Good job. And Ben, give me the answer to this one.
10 over 3.
Good, and how did you come to that answer?
I multiplied the 3's and added the numerator.
Good, so you multiply the numerator, or the denominator and the whole number, and it added the product. Deanna, if you don't get out of there. Haley, answer this one for me.
24 over 5.
24 over 5. Good job. All right, looks like they are done on the sideboard. Mallory and Carly and Bree, I need your eyes up front, please. Thank you. Let's see how they did over here. We have 13 over 7. 1 times 7 is 7, plus 6 is 13. And then we have, I like the little arrow. Good job. We have 1 times 4, plus 1 more would be 5/4. And then we have 1 times 11, plus 2 more is 13 11ths. Good job on the sideboard. Remember that if you can add the little multiplication sign here and the addition that will help you remember what you're doing, but you got the correct answer. Well done, class. Let's review by looking at some of the problems I have on my practice here. Go ahead and pull out your piece of paper and pencil. I'm going to do this for us. Row 1, begin working on number A. Row 2, number B, and row 3, number C. Row 4, number D, and row 5, number E. Alright, row 1, I'm going to ask you to follow Mallory to the sideboard. Put your numbers up on the sideboard for me. On the sideboard. Alright, row 2, go ahead and follow Carly to the sideboard and finish following it up. When you're done working the problems, you can work the problems on the chalkboard and continue working these. Alright, that's all the time we have for today. Good job, boys and girls. Prepare for science.
Discipline problems were